Hello and welcome to Ship Repair New Zealand Limited. Here at Ship Repair, as I'll refer to it during this induction course, we're a specialist ship repair business, offering our clients guaranteed personal and professional service. Owners-operators Henk and Mary Eilering take pride in leading a team of experienced tradesmen, all committed to quality workmanship. Workplace health and safety is extremely important to Ship Repair, and our company has an excellent reputation for maintaining high standards. This workplace health and safety induction will take about 10 minutes. Watch closely. No gazing out at the ships, thank you, as there'll be a short test at the end. All inducted contractors and vessel personnel must report to the office and place the card on the contractor's induction board at the front office. Take a vessel on board card system like this if you're boarding a vessel, and then use your card like this. It's very important to remember to turn these over every time you embark or disembark the vessel. Visitors and vessel crews are not permitted to wander around this site. If you're here with your vessel, please confine yourself to the wharf and the vessel. If you're working on site and not on a vessel, it's important to make sure you sign in at the office on your arrival and departure every day. This is to make sure that in the event of an emergency, we know where to find you if you're not already at the muster point. After you've finished watching this video, please go to the office to receive your induction card. You'll need to carry this with you whenever you enter this site to verify that you've been inducted. The card will last for 1 year. We have 2 car parks for contractors, which are here and here. The vehicle parking on the wharf is for loading and unloading purposes only and must be kept clear at all other times. You'll have noticed the speed signs as you came through the entrance. For obvious reasons, the speeds of 10 km per hour must be adhered to on the yard and 5 km per hour on the wharf. Men's and women's toilet facilities are located here, and for your convenience, please leave them as clean as you found them. If there are any problems regarding the toilets, please contact the Ship Repair office promptly. In the event of an emergency, there's one evacuation point for everyone to gather. It's located here. Contractors are to remove their induction card from the contractor's induction board and go to the muster point. It's essential that you gather at this point as quickly as possible in a calm manner. When in this area, office staff and foremen will check all registers to account for every person on site. Any visiting crew on site are the responsibility of their master, who's been given a health and safety manual for all crew to understand. Please check with him to confirm your evacuation procedure. Evacuation sirens will sound in the workshop as well as on the vessel. From your cell phone, you dial 111, and from the landline you need to dial 9111 to get an outside line. In the event of a fire, we have trained staff who know how to help. Fire hoses and equipment are kept in this fire safety room. When first aid is needed, you'll find the first aid room here, and the first aider lists are kept in here. If you need to notify a first aider, please press this bell here, outside the first aid room. This will ring in the workshops, and our trained staff will reach the first aid room as soon as possible. Or you can call into the office, and the office staff will contact a first aider for you. We're very pleased to have a defibrillator on site, and staff fully trained to operate this, should it ever be required. Our emergency showers on site are to be found by the wharf and slip. All incidents, accidents and near misses must be reported and recorded in the company incident book. For serious injury, dial 9111 and notify a first aid person and your supervisor immediately. For all incidents and accidents, the foreman or project manager is to be notified. The emergency equipment is contained in a mobile emergency unit, which will be located near the vessel being worked on. All staff must wear the standard PPE requirement: steel-capped shoes or boots, and safety glasses in required areas. The registered hard hats are to be worn in the yellow painted area around the slipway and in any cordoned off areas. Hard hats must also be worn when there's a crane or person working overhead. If a vessel's on the slip or a crane's being used, hard hats must be worn at all times. When necessary, you must also use hearing and dust protection. Contractors are to supply their own PPE, and employees of ship repair will be supplied with PPE requirements. Life jackets are to be worn at all times when working on small vessels, unless it's unsafe to do so, for example when welding. A watch is needed with the appropriate equipment to be immediately available, such as a life ring. Life jackets and life rings are available in the tool store. Each day before starting work, every member of staff must attend a toolbox meeting which identifies any hazards on the particular job for the day. Staff must also sign a hazard ID form to verify understanding of these hazards. All of our contractors must check the hazard board, which is here on the vessel boards, and be aware of any changes. It's also your responsibility to write up any hazards that you might be aware of for the day that could affect other personnel. Be aware of areas where there's blasting, either water or grit, and also areas where there's painting. Please stay clear of these areas. The person operating the blaster, or the painter, needs to communicate with ship repair foremen and project managers when and where they're doing this activity. The blaster or painter needs to write it on the hazard board where this activity is, and update the board every time there's a change. We always need a permit for hot work on a vessel. Read the permit and adhere to the conditions on the permit. Any hot work in a confined or congested area may need a fire watch as well, when welding or gas cutting on a bulkhead situation where you can't see the other side of the panel. If you aren't sure, check with the foreman. All fire extinguishers will be on hand, and all the hoses on the vessels will be ready to use. In case of emergency, you'll find the extra hose storage here. Your foreman will instruct you on what is required from a fire watch person. Make sure you understand clearly how to do this job if requested. Hot work can be very dangerous, and your fellow workers are reliant on you for their safety. If you're doing any work over 5 meters high, OSH must be notified of this. You must wear a harness at all times when working from a ship repair HIAB or crane man cage. If you bring in a HIAB, you must have the correct certificate to use it, and the driver must hold a current license to drive it. If you need to use a scaffold to carry out any work, please contact the project manager in charge of the job to organise this. When working in confined spaces and tank entries, you need to make sure that all confined space entry areas have been gas tested and that they all have an entry permit. If there's any doubt, do not enter the area until the permit's been confirmed. Read the permit and adhere to the conditions on the permit. All confined space work requires a safety watch on the outside at all times while work's being done inside. Your foreman will instruct you on what's required from a safety watch person. Make sure you understand clearly how to do this job if requested. A person's life could depend on you. If you need to use a crane lift, this must be organised through the project manager or foreman, and you must always wear your hard hat when working around the cranes. If suitable, please chain off the surrounding area to protect people from the hazard above. It's essential that all cranes and other lifting equipment have a current certificate. You'll need your correct driver's license and ship repair's permission to supply and operate any specialised equipment. That is, work platforms and lifting machinery. Ship repair vehicles, forklifts and HIABs are to be driven and operated by trained ship repair staff only. All ship repair tools and equipment can only be used with the correct permission. You'll need to book equipment in and out of the tool store, where our storeman Ross will show you the correct procedure. All contractor tools and equipment must be in a good working condition and have the appropriate up-to-date testing certificates. If you've used any equipment from the tool store, then it's you who's responsible for returning it and signing for it when you've finished using it. We at Ship Repair place a high priority on protecting the environment from pollution. Ensure the operation of any task does not have the potential to discharge anything into the harbour or waterways. Small amounts of waste oil can be put into Ship Repair oil containers. For larger amounts of oil, the contractor or vessel owner is responsible for removing it from the site. Check with the project manager as to the correct disposal of all waste products. Please make yourself familiar with the location of Ship Repair spill kits and procedures for any spillage. In case of any oil spill, it's essential that you notify Ship Repair project managers and foremen, and also contact the Regional Council regarding any spillage into the harbour. The phone number for the Regional Council is displayed in the office window. Tidy house, tidy mind. Good housekeeping is good safety. All personnel are responsible for keeping their workplace clean. It's essential that all areas are kept clean and tidy, as this results in fewer accidents and keeps all equipment accountable. Access and egress ways, fire and safety equipment must be accessible at all times without obstruction. For any large amounts of waste, please check with the project manager for correct disposal. Our policy for owners of vessels is that they're required to abide by and inform their staff of ship repair safety and emergency procedures and site regulations. All vessels berthing within the port are required to supply fire safety information by filling in an emergency readiness form. We request that owners of the vessels make themselves, crew and visitors familiar with all ship repair and port authority procedures. This includes all vessels using the mooring facilities on site as well. Our gates are locked at 6:30 each night and opened by 7 each morning. We have a security officer on staff that patrols the site at nights. Gates must be kept locked at all times out of these hours and weekends. If you unlock the gate, it's your responsibility to lock it. Thank you for taking part in our workplace health and safety induction, and we look forward to taking you on board. Please go to the office to receive your induction card. We endeavour to make Ship Repair New Zealand a safe working environment.